According to Oxford Languages, scientific method is a method of procedure that has characterized natural science since the 17th century, consisting in systematic observation, measurement, experiment, and the formulation, testing, and modification of hypotheses. The scientific method is a strategy used to try and explain natural science rationally by obtaining and evaluating data. It involves the formulation of hypotheses and application to come up with logical explanations. When using the scientific method, scientists follow a set of scientific method steps. Basically, scientific method has series of steps that we need to follow in order to come up with a certain and tested solution or conclusion to a certain problem. While creationism is the broadest sense refers to God as creator. It is an essential element in the beliefs of the so-called Abrahamic religions such as Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and centers on the claim that God made the physical world out of nothing. Creationists, of course, reject such scientific facts in part because they do not accept evidence drawn from natural processes that they consider to be at odds with the Bible. Creationism focuses on the present conclusions and finding evidences in the Bible, such as creationists do not accept scientific evidences to support certain phenomena. There are advantages and disadvantages of these two opposing methods. For scientific method, the advantages are: first, it is reliable. Reliable in the sense that people can rely to this as a fact since it is supported by evidences. Second, it is accurate. Accurate in the sense that the data stated and gathered are accurate and timely since they are gathered it in an organized manner. Third, it is helpful. People trust conclusions when it is backed up with studied and proven evidences. And lastly, it is the best method to know and discover the truth. If we have these so-called advantages, of course, there will also be disadvantages. Using scientific method is costly and time-consuming. Considering that scientific method is precise and concise, then it must be accurate and reliable. To achieve that, someone must make sure that they're doing it right, so they spend their time and effort to do it and double check everything. For creationist method, there are certain advantages and disadvantages in using it. First, for its advantage, this is a new point of view on how something is created, and this method played a part in educating students on looking on the other side of more creationist evidences, such as looking evidences in the Bible, of course. Second, it lets someone's faith grow stronger in terms of their beliefs in their religion. Of course, creationism promotes belief, faith, and of course, a stronger belief on how something is created based on the Bible. And for its disadvantage, this method lacks evidences since it only bases from one source, which is commonly known as the Bible. So there are a big difference between scientific method and creationism, since scientific method relies on fact, while creationism relies on evidences stated in the Bible, knowing and believing that God created the physical world out of nothing. So, we're going to proceed on the examples of scientific method. The scientific method is used in all sciences, including chemistry, physics, geology, and even psychology. The scientists in these fields ask different questions and perform different tests. However, they use the same core approach to find answers that are logical and supported by evidence. So, for its first example, scientific method is used in researches and studies. For its second example, if there are problems in the society such as arising diseases, for instance, the COVID-19 virus, researchers did use scientific method to test and come up with a vaccine um, that can help to solve the problem. And for the last example stated here, in producing some products such as shampoo, makeup, and other things that we use every day, creators of this use scientific method in order to test this product and come up with its final product where it is safe for everyone to use. And for the creationist method, I also listed some examples here that I'm going to further explain. First, creationist method can be used in everyday life, such as coming up with the conclusion first before the steps, such as thinking the things that you could accomplish in a day, and then later on organize or think of what are the steps that you'll do to accomplish your overviewed plan. So basically, in creationist method, you come up with the conclusion first before organizing or finding out the steps on how you'll do your conclusion. For the second example, creationist methods are also used in preaching at churches and encouraging people. Of course, in creationism, they base on Bible. So basically, creationist method is used by preachers to encourage people at churches. And for the third and last example, people use creationist method to defend something and sometimes even bullying some people on making them realize of what is moral or not. So basically, in our society now, where we live in a very modern era, where people are debating or people have their own beliefs and opinions, creationist method is used to be defend or in defending something such as on those who do believe in God, they do believe that being being homosexual is a sin, while other people do believe that it's not because they're just freely expressing themselves. I listed it as an example since other people do use this as an edge to harass someone or bully someone to make them realize of what is moral or not. Since it is used to sometimes promote being homophobic, being sexist, or even in being misogynist, and other problems that arises from what someone really believes. As for me, between scientific method and creationist method, it is more logical and reliable to use scientific method since we live in a modern and technological world where some findings must be backed up with evidences for people to rely, for people to believe and trust the findings or the conclusions presented. Scientific methods are more reliable and accurate. That's why, as for me, it is more convenient for me to use scientific methods since I really wanted to double check everything, and before believing on some conclusion, I really need to check if it is really tested and proven by some explanations that are backed up with evidences. So I prefer using scientific method than creationist method.